And welcome to this week's edition of Making Sense. And the issue is a smelly one this week. It's a health hazard one this week. And it's certainly no laughing matter, especially for the residents of Joburg. And before you climb down my throat in the comments, we're talking about the issue of PikitUp. We're talking about the issue of refuse removal simply not being removed. It's missing the removal part completely. And it's not just days. It's not even weeks. In some cases, it has been over a month in many areas. Now, the reason I put the caveat in is I know we have covered this on ENCA. There are other areas around the country where we have seen refuse removal not being taken care of. We know, especially in the informal settlements in parts of the country, that is a big issue. I recognize that. However, the reason I'm picking up on this topic at the moment is especially with PikitUp and the issues there that has seen townhouse complexes, business complexes, private households having to leave their rubbish outside and with no real clear indication of exactly how we got here and what the actual solution is, despite Dada Marero saying there is no crisis in the city. That depends very much who you ask. Now, who I would like to ask is well-known Johannesburg councillor Ralf Bitkau, who is often on the streets, often on social media. He is one of the people that residents come to and hopefully can try and get answers for him. He's a hard-working man, so I'm very grateful he's made some time to sneak in on Making Sense for this week. Ralf, it's lovely to have you on the show.
Pleasure to be here.
How bad is this? If you could just give me the sense of you being on the ground, angry residents, you drive around these areas. Which area are you actually in, and just how bad is it?
I'm near Olivedale, and it is shocking. And there's areas that haven't been picked up for 4 weeks, and people are complaining.
Putting
it's
it lightly.
Smelly. Yeah, it's smelly. The rats are loving it. And there's more rats than I've seen in a long time. And with the rats, we are facing a health hazard, a huge problem. The problem started a while ago already, because out of the 5 dump sites that we use, landfill sites that we use, 3 were closed by Environment.
Department of Environment.
They have reached their limit. They're trying to extend them, some of it now, but it's been on the cards for years. We've known about it. So now we're down to 2 dump sites. All the trucks are going to those 2 sites. Now you've got a queue of sometimes up to 300 trucks waiting to offload. So you can't send a truck in, offload, and then be back on the road. You're lucky if they do that one load per day.
And there's nowhere else for them to go.
No. And in actual fact, because of non-payment by the city, one of them they were actually refused entry to.
So at the actual gate, they wouldn't even let the trucks in. Mm-hmm. So one of the 2 that are left, they wouldn't let the trucks into that one.
Yeah. Then the problem though is, as I've been saying before as well, the way that the city runs their entities. Yes, there are entities that belong to the city, but you should allow an entity to be run by somebody that knows how to run a business and make sure that they can run it as a business and a functioning business. This is not happening. The city gets all the money in. It goes into one account, and they say, thank you very much. Now we'll decide, okay, you get so much, you get so much, you get so much. It's very easy to see what they should be getting, but they're not getting what they're actually getting in. On top of it, the way that refuse removal and sewage is calculated is totally wrong. It actually goes against the Finance Act. The Finance Act states very clearly that anything that you are charging for should be linked to the actual action. Well, refuse removal is based on the value of your property. sewage is based on the size of property. So an elderly couple living on an acre property pays 1,500 rand, just to use a figure, for sewage. 20 people living in a 350 square meter townhouse are paying 300 rand for sewage.
Oh, I see where the problem comes in. Okay,
right?
so it's usage versus size.
It's not done. And they say, we can't change it. That's absolute nonsense, because when it comes to commercial use and commercial wastewater, they're doing it. They're charging percentage of water used as sewage. So it can be done, but they don't want to do it.
I'm going to get into the mismanagement of the money, the malfeasance, the wasteful and fruitless expenditure. I think now with Treasury putting 69 municipalities on notice, we're going to start hearing those terms a lot more. But I want to just talk about the practicalities, because you mentioned the dump sites a bit earlier, the landfill sites, to use the correct term. The other practicality that I was seeing is, and you tell me this is true, they have about 223 pickup trucks, dump trucks, dustbin trucks. I'm trying to find the right word for that. The trucks that collect the rubbish. There we go.
Refuse trucks.
Thank you, Ralf. Let's pretend I said it the first time around. That makes more sense. I'm smarter than that. Of those, 141 are either broken down or they're scrapped or in some way not functioning. Is that true?
I've been checking with Randburg, for instance, their own trucks. They've only got 13. The rest is contractors, and they're supposed to be running 25 a day. For the simple reason that maintenance has not been done, the fleet has not been upgraded, so they're running ancient trucks, and they break down. Right? And the maintenance is, look, they run under a maintenance contract. But have they paid the contract? It's another question that I'm trying to find out. Has that contract been paid? The problem we have is, as I said earlier on, the money goes into one big account. Then the executive of the city treats the entities like teenagers and says, we're giving you a bit of pocket money. So City Power, you get so much. Joburg Water, you get so much. PikitUp, oh yeah, here's a bit for you as well. But it's not even enough to cover the actual charges and costs from the contractors. So now the contractors are hiring casual labor. They get money that covers their diesel. They get diesel, and then they don't pay the casuals. So you've got labor problems. That's the next problem. So we've had the problem with the landfill sites. We've got the labor problem. We've got the maintenance problem. Name one problem that we haven't got. And then they bring in contractors now from other areas to help out, for instance, in Randburg, because they're so far behind. And these guys don't know the routes. So I've got it now in North Riding. Three roads have been left behind.
Because they don't know the area.
They don't know the area. But then the manager, I get hold of the manager and say, listen, these have not been collected. He ignores it.
How difficult is it as a councillor to get answers? I'll tell you why I'm asking, because I've seen it with councillors before, and I know a few of them. People expect you to have all the answers and to fix the problem, but that isn't necessarily what you're always able to do. You also hit roadblocks.
Yes, you do. Look, with years, you build up connections in that. And if you've got the right attitude with them, yes, you get answers, but not all the right answers. Oh, yeah, no, we've got this problem, we've got that problem. Yeah, why have you got that problem? Oh, because you haven't got money to buy the spares. I didn't say that. And, the guys are scared to actually speak up. So when you talk to the guys on the ground in that, you get a certain answer, but it doesn't reflect the whole truth. With this withholding of money, they made a big hurrah with Joburg Water. about the handing over of the Brixton reservoir. They should never have said a thing because it was 14 months late. 14 months after it was supposed to be finished, they finally handed it over. And the only reason that they got there after 14 months late is because we, as the opposition, made a lot of noise when we found out that they hadn't paid the contractor and they owed the contractor 77 million.
And we were seeing the Joburg mayor, Dada Moreira, he was having to respond to Treasury now freezing funding to, as I mentioned at the beginning, 69 municipalities, of which Joburg is one of them. And the sense I got watching that media briefing, it came across as though the city always knew about this. They knew about the problems, but they're only now actually doing something about it because Treasury told them to do something, and because now the money is being frozen, now everyone seems to be panicking a little bit. I don't know if you agree with my sentiment.
Oh, 100%. In actual fact, they were told by the finance minister ages ago, stop sweeping. Sweeping is when they take all that money, put it in one account, and use it for whatever they feel they use it. He told them, stop sweeping right now. They ignored it completely. They're only reacting to it now because the money is frozen. But we told them already when they forced through their basically illegal budget that you can't do this, and they went ahead anyway.
I want to ask you on the budget, by the way. I've seen a lot of people messaging, not just me on social media, but ENCA. What do we understand? I mean, I'm sure you know, I just need some clarity. An unfunded budget. That is when it's a budget that's been put together. Gareth has his budget, and I've budgeted 10,000 Rand, but I don't have 10,000 Rand to spend.
If your budget is unfunded, you lose the grants that come from national government.
So it's serious implications.
That's exactly what's happened now. This month, nothing. Right? And that is because of that. And it is actually illegal to try to pass a budget like that.
Where's the solution for this PikitUp problem, crisis?
The solution lies right at the top. Look, I don't blame the MD. I don't blame her at all. I spoke to her the other day. She says, I'm on my way out again to see the guys at the COJ to get more money.
So she's having to actually go ask money.
She's begging for money because she can't cope with it the way it is. I've seen the figures of what they were getting over a couple of months, and then she said, at last we got 1.1 and then, we can carry on. And I said, hello? You got to beg in order to run your business?
To provide a service?
Can't do that.
So where's the solution then?
The solution is basic and very thorough. You need a change of government. The government at the moment is basing everything on loyalty to the party and whatnot. It comes before anything else. It's not based on the residents. The residents is what you're there for. You govern in order to help the residents and make sure that they've got a decent life. Look at the city. The city in the last 5 years has deteriorated to no end. When you look at the state of the city, it's actually, when we say it's bankrupt, it is bankrupt.
Dada Moreira was saying there's no crisis.
Dada Moreira, we had a council meeting there a couple of weeks ago. I never saw him. He didn't bother to pitch here. I mean, this was a serious 2-day meeting. He wasn't there at all.
What about those watching, Ralf, who might say, before governments of national unity and government of provincial unity, it would have been blamed squarely on the party running that city. In this case, it would have been the ANC. But with the whole GPU, and I don't want to turn this into too political a talk, obviously, just to get clarity on what you were saying earlier. Some people are saying, yes, but where is the other political parties in Gauteng that are now part of the government? Why has nothing changed? What do you say to someone when they bring that up for you?
The ANC is in power in this coalition. When you look at who's in that coalition and what is happening with the MMCs and the positions, who's the speaker, you've got somebody who's got 0.3% of the vote, who's a speaker. You've got we had in two cases somebody who's got less than 1% of the vote, who's the mayor. You can't run a city like this. That's not the way it works. You need the buy-in of the people, and you need to make sure that, and unfortunately, in Cape Town it worked with a coalition. Up here, it will not. It will never work. There's too many fingers in the pie, and there's too many flip-floppers. People that say one thing, I never will do this, and the next thing, oh no, it suits me to do that. Why? Because my people can get some positions. This is the way it's run up here, and it's wrong. You can't do that. I mean, that's why 3 years ago I've made a phone call. And I said, listen, we need you. And yes, I phoned Helen 3 years ago. I said, Helen, you're the only person I know that can sort out this mess.
Can she, though? Because now
it's a hell of a challenge. It's a hell of a challenge.
I don't want to turn this into too much of a politics thing, but you raise such a good question. People would look at someone like a Helen Zille, and Helen Zille isn't here to answer the question, but just in talking to people that I know and anecdotal discussions, the hope for many, especially in this case, DA supporters, is that Helen will be the answer. But it can't be just Helen Zille, because she has to deal with council and... No. What's the reality in your mind?
Helen knows how to run a show. Helen is phenomenal when it comes to getting people to do things and do them right, and get out of people what needs to come out. I mean, look at Cape Town. J.P. Smith, the guy for safety and security in Cape Town. Sometimes he sounds almost pedantic, but he gets things done. He's out there and he does it. And this is what it's all about. And I mean, people say, oh, she's swimming in potholes. There's a lady who's 75 years old. She's got more energy than most 35-year-olds. And she expects everybody else to follow suit. And that is the way it should. She leads by example. She doesn't expect anybody to do what she won't do. But when you're there and you're supposed to do something, do it. And yeah, I can even see some of ours saying, ooh, this is more than I bargained for. But you know what? We need to do it. We need to knuckle down and do it. Otherwise...
It's going to get worse.
Hey,
it's going to get worse for the residents.
Rome is burning.
It's going to get worse for the residents. Yeah. Something does need to change, whether that is Helen Zille and the DA or a coalition.
If Joburg fails, South Africa will fail. There's no doubt about that. Joburg has got to be saved.
How close are we to failing?
I'm extremely worried.
You're extremely worried.
Because if we don't have a change of government, the city is finished.
I'm sure we're going to talk lots of politics in the build to local government elections. I just want, for the benefit of this podcast, just on the PikitUp thing, residents in Joburg now going to look at this and go, okay, we now know what the problem is. What do you, Ralf, do when you have to deal with an issue? Just perhaps this is my last question, so weigh in on what you want to hear and what you want to leave people with as well. But what do you now do? I mean, you're wearing a DA shirt, so I'll speak to a DA councillor in this case. What can you do?
The problem we have is that we're not allowed as councillors to give instructions to the workers, which is not, it's a problem, but at the same time, it's not a problem, because you've got to separate the two, the legislature and the administration of it. but it's not being separated at the moment in the city. So we're getting there. I do what I can from behind the scenes. A lot of times people are saying, "Oh, have you been to site?" I don't have to go to site. I've got my informants that tell me exactly what's happening on site, and they don't lie to me. And at the same time, a lot of times, yes, I do go to site. It depends, but I have other things to look out for. So let's say I've got a burst pipe over here, but I've got PikitUp over there. I've got City Power over there. I've got 60,000 people that I'm looking after. That's my ward. And a lot of the people, they're just, because I've split the ward into areas, I've got 8 different area-based WhatsApp groups. Now, people in Bromhof, they see what's happening in Bromhof, and they're concerned about Bromhof, but they don't see really what's happening in North Riding. Now, being part and parcel of the infrastructure team, I don't only see that, I also see what's happening in Ennerdale, and and in Sandton, and in the south of Joburg, all over. I see the bigger picture on it, and I've got to deal with it. So, my job's actually quite a bit bigger than people think it is. Obviously, we're there for the residents, and I am there for the residents. But I've got to split myself. Now, my wife's ready to leave me because I'm on the phone till 10 o'clock at night, and from 6 in the morning. So it's stressful, but we do what we can. We try to hold it together. But right now, I've never been in 20 years, we've never been in such a situation. It's almost like being a councillor in Rome while it's burning. Or in Pompeii while Vesuvius is doing its thing. It's scary.
Closing tradition on the podcast is for me to ask you, is there anything I haven't asked you? I like to make sure I ask you open-ended on that last one, or perhaps something you want to leave for anyone watching right now.
What's important is too many people are sitting at home saying, I'm in a safe ward or whatever, I don't have to go and vote. Get registered and go and vote. How can you complain if you didn't bother to go and vote? Right? You phone the councillor afterwards and say, "Oh, my power is out." Did you vote? No, it was too long a queue or something like that. Make the effort and vote. Go and vote. And remember one thing, if you vote for your party and the councillor from that party, that's actually like 3 votes, because the 2 get combined and then counted again. So it's 3 votes for the party. Go and do it.
Ralf Bitkau, thank you very, very much. Joburg, I know that the issue right now with PikitUp, it's causing a massive stink. I wanted to speak to one of the councillors. We'll speak to many other councillors as well for so many other issues, not just in Joburg, but around the country as and when they become available, especially as Ralf Bitkau says, we're getting closer to those local government elections. The importance is to go and vote. At least you can have a say in how the politics gets played out. I'm very grateful, Ralf, for coming in and joining us on Making Sense. Any comments? I know you're going to yell at me because we didn't talk about a specific street in Joburg. We would spend all day doing that. We were just talking specifically today, the issue of PikitUp in Joburg and the non-refuse removal over at least the last month, which also still seems to be a big issue at the moment. Thank you for watching. We'll pick up other social delivery issues in the weeks to come. See you soon. Bye-bye.